Once the Israelites had crossed through the Red or Reed Sea, they were truly in the desert. They traveled for 3 days without finding any water. When they finally found some, it was bitter. So they called the place Mara, meaning bitter. The people started to complain to Moses, saying, "What are we to drink?" Moses cried to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood, and he threw it in the water, and the water became sweet. The Lord then told the Israelites, "If you listen carefully and do what I tell you and do right, I will not send any of the diseases I sent to the Egyptians, as I am the Lord that heals you." The next place they camped was much better. Elim had 12 springs and 70 palm trees, but they needed to keep going through the desert. They were starting to get hungry, and they were grumbling against Moses and Aaron. "If only we had died by the Lord's hands in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted, but you have brought us into the desert to starve all of us to death." Moses and God had another conversation, and the Lord said to Moses, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather what they need, and on the 6th day they are to gather twice as much. I am testing them to see if they can follow instructions." So Moses and Aaron said to the people, "You will see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your grumbling against him. When you grumble, you're not complaining to us, but you are grumbling against the Lord." Moses told them that the Lord had said at twilight they would eat meat, and in the morning they would eat bread. That evening, quail, a small bird, came down and covered the camp, and the people had meat to eat. In the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp, but when the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost were on the ground. They didn't know what it was, but Moses said, "It is the bread that the Lord has given you to eat. Take only what you need for you and your family on this day." Each person found they did not take too little, but there were people who had gathered more, and by the next morning it had spoiled and smelt bad, and Moses was angry they did not listen. On the 6th day they gathered twice as much as they would normally have had, so they would have some for the Sabbath day when the Lord did not make any. The people were to rest. This bread, gathered on the day before the Sabbath, did not spoil. But again, some people did not follow instructions and were out looking for bread on the Sabbath. People called this bread manna, which means, "What is it?" They ate it every day until they reached the border of the Promised Land. God had Moses and Aaron put some manna in a jar so it could be kept so the people could see the bread that God had provided them when he brought them out of Egypt. The people continued going through the desert. They camped at Rephidim. Again there was no water, and again the people complained, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt to make us, our children, and our livestock die of thirst?" Moses was afraid the people were going to hurt him, and he cried out to God, "What am I going to do with these people?" So God told him what to do. Moses went ahead of the people and took some of the elders with him. God was there at the rock at Horeb, and Moses, using the staff that he had used to strike the Nile, struck the rock, and water came out of the rock, and the elders saw it. This was not the only time the Lord saved the Israelites. While they were still at Rephidim, the Amalekites came down to attack them. Moses told Joshua to pick some men and go fight them, and that he would stand at the top of the hill with the staff of God in his hand. Moses went up the hill with Aaron and Hur. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. Moses' hands grew tired, so they put a stone under Moses, and he sat on it. And then Aaron and Hur held up Moses' hands until sunset, when Joshua and his men overcame the Amalekite army. Moses built an altar to God and called the place, "The Lord is my banner."